It's Testimony Tuesday.
Well, welcome everybody to Testimony Tuesday. This is the first time I've been helping facilitate, and we have the privilege to have Terry and Arlene Kubin here. This is what I love about them, and I guess many people in our church family, that we just asked them on the fly today. They were in the office. We didn't have anyone lined up, and they're full of testimony because they're full of Jesus, and they had something they felt led to share already. So here it is. This is Terry. I think he's going to start it off.
So what we're going to talk about today is how Jesus brought us through the grief of losing our son, Travis. You know, he died unexpectedly and suddenly at 47 years old. And I found him and worked on him till the ambulance got there. And then, you know, the next day his wife broke her leg up, and Heidi broke her leg up in Pincushion Mountain, Beachland. It took 22 of us 4 hours to get her off the mountain. And then the grief that we had was so hard and so intense. It just devastated us. It was so hard. But God, through his mercy, brought us through it, because we know, we have faith, and we know that Jesus has the answers. And we hang on to him as our hope, and he got us through.
It's a total miracle. I think of that song, I'm still standing, because we are still standing after our family has just been devastated and blown apart. And watching each family member struggle. And you know, the Lord just has blessed us with peace. You know, with the reassurance that Travis is with Jesus. He has changed addresses. But of course, we sure do miss him, being he was our only son. And we know that God took him because there was no cause of death. Like out of 500 autopsies they do, there might be 2 that are unexplained. And they said there was no reason for this man to die suddenly like that. And it's interesting because Terry and I were there, of course, when he was born, 47 years before that. And it's interesting that it was him and I that were there at the end, because Heidi was off on a conference in Vancouver and the twins were off at university. So it makes us feel better that we got to pray over him, like Elijah in the scriptures. I was reading about that yesterday. And we did the same thing, pleading for the Lord to bring life back into him. But there's no need to stay stuck in a hole in grief when you have Jesus who puts you back together.
We've watched Jesus heal our whole family. It's been a process, but he's been faithful and true to his word, that he is our everything. And he has brought us to a point now where we are moving on and doing what he's calling us to do. We never stopped. We were devastated for a while. We went to grief counseling, and we saw people that were stuck in your grief. They were 6, 7, 8 years, and they were still in grief over the loss of a loved one. But they didn't have Jesus. But we had Jesus, and he has brought us through. It's all about what he's done in our life. It's not anything we did, it's because of him.
Yeah.
There's a real security in surrendering to the will of God in our lives. You know, of knowing that he knows exactly how many years we have on this earth. I just know that. And there is a security in knowing. And heaven is a wonderful place that we're all going to. And so we have hope that death is not the end, but it's the beginning. So we believe that Travis is more alive now than he ever was.
Yeah. Amen. Can I maybe just ask one question? Is there a specific thing that you could give maybe as advice to somebody that maybe feels like they're stuck in grief, maybe a specific practical thing even that maybe can help you move forward in the process of getting free from like being stuck in an unhealthy kind of grief?
I think the first step is just accepting where you are, because grief it's devastating and it wrecks you, and sometimes you don't feel like talking to people, sometimes you isolate, sometimes you don't know why you feel so whacked out. And I think for us, we just accepted the journey, that we weren't certainly normal, that's for sure. And just realizing it's only Jesus that can resurrect us. I mean, we could go to self-help groups or grief counseling forever and ever and be stuck in a hole. But when you just give it to him and let him bring that deep peace to you, it's permanent.
It's a process to get to that point. We went through the process. How many times we had to hand our grief to Jesus, but it got easier and easier as we walked through this. It's been just over 2 years now, and we are doing extremely well for the situation we're in. You just can't lose your focus on Jesus. You got to have him 24/7.
Yeah.
Because he's our help in all things.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
It's so true. And just to encourage any of you watching too, those of course that have experienced grief or experiencing it right now, I'm sure this is very applicable to you. But for those that maybe you aren't experiencing grief in your life, but there is other struggles or anxieties, or just the theme I hear here is just, you just keep giving it to Jesus. And thank you guys very much for sharing. That's super powerful. I'm sure they'd be very open to hearing from you. If anyone would like more advice or prayer, they absolutely love praying for people and supporting people. So specifically with grief or anything else that's kind of struck your heart today, you can reach us at the office to get their information, or they're in the directory as well, the phone directory. So they'd love to hear from you and pray for you, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Anytime.
Yeah.
And remember,
24/7.
grief has no boundaries. And there's one thing about grief: you can't go around it, you can't go under it, you can't go over it. You got to go through it. And when you got Jesus beside you, the journey is a lot easier and safer.
And we'd like to thank all of you for being such strong support to us, for just taking us as we are, as we were. I just feel like in our church there's no judgment, because it was like always okay. However you were feeling, it's like come as you are. So we just thank everybody for your prayer support and for coming to the house, and just for still asking us, how are you people doing? It's like, that's true caring, to check in on how we are. So thank you so much, everybody.
Amen.
Yeah, amen. That's so powerful. Thank you for sharing. And for the rest of you, if you feel led to share your testimony, I know you all have a testimony. I don't have to ask, do any of you have a testimony to share? You all have one that follow Jesus. So if you're feeling led, we'd love to give you an opportunity to share in the next few weeks. So reach out, office@pentictonvineyard.com, reach out to Krista, and we'll get back to you. God bless you all. Receive that word of encouragement, and have a great week.